This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Joie Seldon. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
You are welcome. It's a great pleasure to connect with you. What part of the world are you in right now?
I am in Oakland, California, which is the Bay Area.
All right. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
Speaking. We connected through Innovation Women, which is a speaking platform for women speakers. And so that's what I love to do, among other things.
Ooh, what are the other... All right, let's not do the other things just yet. So who did you learn that skill from, that ability to speak to audiences?
I was an acting teacher for a long time. And when I got into business and became a coach, and I knew that I wanted to do public speaking, but I had never actually studied that particular arena. So I went to speaking circle classes with Lee Glickstein, who created them. And I learned about relational presence from him.
Was it fun that time?
It was really fun. Yeah. I became certified as a facilitator. I liked it so much. So
That's amazing. Yeah. So it seems as though you follow through in things really deeply. Is it true? Is that accurate that you have a huge follow through?
I do. Sometimes it's long and slow, but I do follow through on the things that really matter most to me. Absolutely.
Who did you learn that from? Is there someone in your family
no.
that? Yeah, there's two ways to learn, right? It's like you can learn two ways. You can learn from what others do and do it, or you can learn from what others didn't do and decide to do it.
That was more it. It was like, I'm going to find my own way, because where I was not very happy.
No, definitely there would have been the challenges, more so it not being something that was naturally part of your environment. Why will you continue, nevertheless, to do that?
I love speaking, and I love sharing my passion for what I do and what I talk about, and it gives me an opportunity to interact with people that I would normally never meet. So I think it's a lot of fun, and I get to make connection with people because I'm very interactive in my presentations. I don't use PowerPoints at all.
Oh, really?
Shocks people, yes, but...
Yeah, I can well imagine. So, I mean, like, you must walk a lot on that stage to keep the attention of the individual as well. Yeah,
I do. And I ask questions, and I get people to interact with each other and interact with me.
That's intriguing. So, for someone that's listening, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
My website is joieseldon.com, and my name, Joie, is spelled Joie, like joie de vivre. So it's JoieSeldon.com.
Oh, wonderful. Tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
The thing I've done most consistently is to really tell myself the truth about what was going on in my life and business, to really face anything that I wasn't happy about, but also to acknowledge what I valued and what was working, and to really follow my inner guidance.
What was that like?
It's actually been fantastic. My business is building, and it's growing and evolving into areas I haven't done before quite. I have been physically very healthy. I've gotten healthier, and there's a kind of flow that I've been seeking for a really long time, and it's beginning. So one thing I would say to people is that, sometimes we're in such a rush for things to happen quickly, and sometimes they just have to take a certain amount of time, but you need to follow your own intuition and your own core of what it is that's guiding you.
A while back, this was like 2016, and I was gunning for 1,509 conversations in 3 months. And I remember speaking to one person, and she told me, it was something like, you have to do the work. And she said, I don't do that anymore. I let things come to me. And it took me a couple of years, right, to get around that
Yeah.
thought. But
Yeah.
yesterday my wife and I were speaking about that. I have a friend that traveled to Canada recently, and he brought back goggles for my sons, and they needed goggles because they kept saying that water is getting in the ones they had. So my wife was going that evening to purchase the goggles, and my friend came back, and she's like, up to this point, she's still asking me, come on, did you tell him to purchase that? It's really amazing that it would, show itself up like that.
Yes, I can relate to working hard and struggling. And the more I've learned to rest and relax within my knowingness, it's been amazing. People have found me through the internet that I've been kind of shocked, actually, at where people are coming from.
Yeah, definitely.
How did they find me?
Amazing audience, you're hearing it live from Joie Seldon. Now, amazing audience, be careful with what you just heard. The work is necessary. We've all been doing the work. However, it's not the ride or die, right, type of work.
Well, I've done 40 years of developmental work, personal work, therapy, business courses. I've done a lot of work. It's at this stage of my life. So I'm glad you actually said that, because it does take, you have to lay the foundation in order for the other part of it to show up.
Yeah, it's like planting a seed, right?
Yes.
Even before planting the seed, you have to prepare the ground, and then you plant the seed, and then you have to have hope because you aren't seeing what's happening with the seed, and then the seed eventually pops out there, and then the bud comes out, and then there's a lot. Yes. But definitely there's a time when you have to go through the season before the fruit comes.
Definitely.
Have you written anything?
I have written a book. It's called Emotions: An Owner's Manual. And that came out of many, many years of the work that I've done with myself personally, through my own development and through with clients and study, and a master's degree in somatic counseling psychology. So I have put together a lot of different aspects to create a way to learn about emotions that's very practical. It's easy, it's not intimidating, but it's really profound in terms of helping people to really manage their emotions in life so they can turn them into assets instead of liabilities.
Given the fact that you don't use slides, did you turn that book into an audiobook?
Yes, it is an audiobook.
Oh, that's a great idea. It aligns with your brand, right?
Yes.
You're a speaker.
In fact, I wrote it as an audiobook first and then decided to publish a paper, a hardcore book. It's on Kindle, audible.com.
Wonderful. All right, Joy. Well, let's switch gears for a moment now. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Joy, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest memory is being a bit lost. I had wandered away. I don't know if I followed my brother somewhere, but I'm in some woodsy area where there are trees and a little stream, but there's nobody around me, so I'm by myself, and I'm very, very young, and I remember coming out of that and finding the street that I'm hoping it's the street I live on, and trying to find my home.
Wow. Average age, what do you think it was? Average age?
I think I was probably around 3
Why
or
do you
4.
think it's so clear, this memory?
Because I was scared. I was afraid, and I was alone. So it was a very emotional, impactful moment.
So you found yourself lost, and then you were amongst the trees, and you eventually walked. What did it feel like? Did it feel like 5 minutes, or you were walking for like?
It felt at first, I remember liking, because I love nature, and I think I may have started very early because I loved the sense of being around the trees, but then I got scared, and that's when I started looking. I think maybe, it's really, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. I don't think it was terribly long.
Yeah, I know time slows down when you're afraid, when
And
you're panicky. Yeah, it's
and it was
like,
a long time ago.
yeah, definitely, definitely. All right, all right. How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
That's such an interesting question because it's a link I would never have thought of. But growing up, I felt very much alone. I didn't feel like my family got me at all. I was the youngest. My brother and sister were much older, and it was the work that I do now really came out of the loneliness and pain I felt growing up and this desire I had. I didn't think of it as connection at the time, but now I see what it brings me joy is connection. In fact, that's the very definition of joy is connection. It's the emotion of connection. And so that unhappiness really drove me to find a way to understand what's the truth about life and how can I be more fulfilled than what I see my very unhappy family being, that I wanted something more. So I think it was really part of the whole process of me doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, well done, well done. Yeah, the connection being one that's necessary with yourself first. And I guess as a child, like you were going into that space where you were connected with yourself, and then you were the trees. But then you got spooked a bit, right? But it's really cool that you're in that space now today. It's really cool that you're in that space. Like you can be there now and not be spooked, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a song that most people would think of as a song, but I love George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. I was a dancer, actually, a ballet dancer at that age. I got into the San Antonio Civic Ballet Company, so I was around more classical music, I think, than popular music. But Gershwin is always my favorite.
George Gershwin. All right. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes.
Joy, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
My clients, my students.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
I believe in a spirit that is sacred. I use the term God, Goddess, all that is, because I think it's energy that is the essence of creativity, and that's what I see as spirit, or what people would call God.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
My friends are in a lot of different locations, so they're inner in my heart and soul, not necessarily in my physical location.
All right. Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Rarely, very, very rarely.
How about 3 hours a week?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
No.
All right. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Joie Seldon, what would you say that is?
It is my motto that life is richer when you feel it.
Love it. Joy, this was such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I would just like to share with people to really embrace your emotions, that they actually have a very important purpose of your survival and well-being, and it's the denial and suppression of them that gets us into trouble, not the emotions themselves. So I invite people to educate themselves about emotions and to really see them as a vital and positive force in our lives.
Love it. Joie Seldon, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.